When I was 16, my family took me camping, then left me alone in the woods. As I came back toward the campsite with an armful of firewood, I heard my father's voice. If he wants to survive, he'll figure it out. Hour later, I watched them drive off, without looking back. I wandered lost and starving for days until I finally found help. I never saw them again until last month. 6 years later, my mother showed up at my work sobbing. So, this is a long story, and I wasn't even sure I was going to post it, but whatever. Here it is. I've told a couple poo IRL, and most of them either didn't believe it or just got weird about it. So IDK, maybe internet strangers will get it more? This was when I was 16, so 6 years back. I'm 22 now. I was not some wild kid or anything, just regular annoying teenager stuff. My dad, Clarence, has always been that dude who thinks being tough is the only thing that matters. Like he'd say, I was soft if I didn't want to play football with a broken finger, or whatever. My mom, Marion, she just goes with it. My little sister Claire, she was 12, I think. Not really involved, just on her phone all the time. The weird part started before we even left for this trip. My dad kept making these comments like, "Oh, time for you to learn how to be a man," or stuff like that. Not the first time he said it, but it felt extra pointed this time. At breakfast, he looked at me and goes, "Hope you're ready to get out of your comfort zone." And I kind of just rolled my eyes, 'cause, whatever, that's his thing. Mom barely said anything. Just kept packing trail mix in those mini cereal boxers. We drive like 2 hours out to some state forest. Not a fancy campsite, just this basic spot with a fire ring, couple picnic tables, and one of those outhouses that always smells. The drive was mostly silent, except for Ziale's TikTok videos playing on her phone. I tried to make convo, but my dad just kept staring at the road, and Mom was playing Sudoku on her phone. I remember thinking it was way more awkward than usual. So, we get there, unload, set up the tent, all that. Dad's being extra bossy about how I'm not pulling my weight, like I'm literally carrying the cooler. And he's still muttering about back when he was a kid, and whatever. I just ignore it. When we finally get a fire going, Claire's on her phone, Mom's reading. Dad's just staring at me like he's waiting for me to mess up. Just a weird vibe. Next morning, Dad wakes me up early, says we need more firewood. Hands? Me this crappy old hatchet, and tells me to go out past the trail, find some real wood, not the stuff near the site. I'm half asleep, but whatever. I go. I'm gone, maybe like 40 minutes. I don't have service out there. Kind of just wandering around looking for dry branches. When I finally come back, I hear voices, and I stop behind this clump of trees. Not on purpose, just 'cause I hear my name. I hear my dad, and he's saying, if he wants to survive, he'll figure it out. And my mom's voice, but she's all quiet, saying, "Are you sure this is the right way?" And my dad goes, "This is how my old man did it to me. He'll thank us one day." Claire says something, but I can't hear her. Just her voice, all flat and bored. I just stand there kind of frozen. Like, is this a joke? I step out, and they all look at me like caught. Mom looks away. Dad just shrugs. Claire won't even meet my eyes. I drop the firewood and ask what's going on. And Dad just goes, "You'll be fine. You're a man now. Figure it out." And then he starts packing up the tent. At first, I think he's bluffing, like maybe this is some wild parenting thing. So, I try to grab my bag, but Dad shoves me back. Not hard, but enough to make his point. Mom tries to say something, but Dad snaps at her. Tells her to get in the car. I just stand there while they pack up. Claire throws my hoodie at me and says nothing. Mom tries to hand me an old granola bar, but Dad yells for her to get in the car, now. She drops it on the ground. I pick up the granola bar. Dad slams the trunk. I tell him, "You can't just leave me here." And he goes, "You'll understand when you're older." Then he gets in the car. Mom's crying. Claire's got her earbuds in and they just drive off. I stand there for a long time thinking they'll come back. This is a joke, but they don't. I try calling them, but I left my charger in the car and my phone's almost dead. I try to call again, but I get nothing. No bars anyway. I check my pockets. I have like $12. A lighter, my phone, the hatchet, the dumb granola bar. I walk back up the trail thinking maybe they're just around the bend, but the parking lot's empty. There's a weird feeling, like I'm not even mad yet, just confused. I sit there for a while, hoping they come back, but nothing. So, I try to get back to the site, but honestly, I get turned around. The trees all look the same. I'm not a scout. I don't hike. The sun starts going down and I get cold, so I just find a spot and try to sleep. Every little noise freaks me out, but I'm more annoyed than scared at this point. Like, really? This is what they think is going to fix me. Next day, I try following the trail markers, but they just loop back. I ration the granola bar, but it's gone by the second day. I yell for help a few times, but there's no one. I drink from a stream. Probably not the smartest, but I did see at that point. I try not to sleep much, 'cause I keep hearing stuff. After a few days, I'm hungry, tired, and pissed off. I keep thinking about what Dad said. How his dad did this too. I keep thinking he's always talking about tough love. But this feels more like he just wanted to get rid of me for a bit eventually. I see some hikers, and they stare at me like I'm a wild animal, or one of them gives me water, asks if I'm okay. I tell them my family left me, and they just look at each other like, is this kid serious? They walk me back to the trailhead, and I just sit there while they try to call someone. I give them my parents' number, but no answer. I end up with some park rangers, and they call my Aunt Aurora. She picks me up, barely says anything, just drives me to her house, makes me a sandwich, and tells me to sleep on the couch the next day. She says my parents are taking some time, and maybe it's best if I stay with her for a while. I ask if they even called. She shrugs, says they need space, and I should think about what I did to push them that far, which honestly pisses me off. More than anything, I try calling again. Nothing. After a week at her place, I just stop trying. I don't see or hear from them again. Not for 6 years. I move out at 18, start my own thing, block them everywhere. Every so often, I'd get a message from Claire on Instagram, just a meme or something, but nothing real. I figured I was done with it. I figured if they didn't want me, I didn't need them. Then last month, my mom shows up at my work, just walks in looking older, tired, and starts crying. I literally have not seen her face in 6 years. Didn't even recognize her at first. That's how part 1 ends, I guess. If you want to know what happened when she showed up, I'll post more. But yeah, that's how my family left me in the woods. Even an apology, not even a call, just gone. Update 1. Alright, so here's part 2. Like I said, if you read part 1, you know my mom just showed up at my work out of nowhere after 6 years. Honestly, it was so random. I thought I was seeing things. It's not even like I live in the same town. I moved way out after high school, blocked everyone, changed numbers, the whole thing. So, her finding me, that's not an accident. She had to ask around. She looked rough, like she hadn't slept. And she was just standing there at the front like she didn't even know what to say. So, I walk up, and before I can even open my mouth, she starts crying. Like, not even cute crying. Just ugly, snotty, can't catch her breath crying. She grabs my arm and I pull back. Just instinct. I don't want her touching me. People are staring. I tell her to step outside, and she follows, still crying. And I gotta admit, that made me mad. Like, seriously? After all this time, you show up and just expect me to be cool with it. Nah, outside. She tries to talk. Keeps wiping her face with her sleeve and saying she's sorry, that she's been trying to find me, that she misses me, all this stuff. I just stand there. I tell her to get to the point, 'cause I gotta get back in there, and she kind of flinches. She starts rambling about how everything went wrong after I left. How Claire barely talks to her. How Claire and my dad is not the same. And how she just wants to see me. No, I'm okay. All that. She says she's sorry. Says she never wanted it to go like that. It was never supposed to be that bad. Clarence just wanted to teach me a lesson. He thought I'd toughen up, that I'd come back after a few hours and prove I could handle myself. I cut her off, told her I wasn't interested in her excuses. She tries to grab my arm again, and I push her back. Not hard, but enough. And she kind of stumbles. She looks at me like I slapped her. She tries to say she didn't have a choice, that Clarence wouldn't listen. That she wanted to come back for me, but he wouldn't let her. I asked her why she didn't call the cops then, or at least my aunt, or literally anyone. She gets real quiet, just looking down at the sidewalk, and says she was scared of him, Nangle. That made me angrier than anything, 'cause she always acted like she was on my side growing up. But whenever Clarence got like that, she'd just go along with it always. Say, you let him leave me there? You never called. You never even tried? She starts up the waterworks again. Goes on about how she was so young and didn't know what to do. I just stand there with my arms CED. I don't care. People are walking by, some giving us looks, but ID. She starts talking about how everything went wrong right after. How Clarence got meaner and meaner. How Claire started sneaking out. How the family just fell apart. She says she lost her job. They moved into a smaller place. Clarence started drinking more, got in fights with neighbors, all that. She says she tried to reach out to me, but my Aunt Aurora wouldn't give her my info. I know that's a lie. Aurora barely talked to me after I left. Just sent the occasional Facebook. So, I call her out on it. She shrugs. Says maybe she missed Ramirez. I ask her what she wants from straight up. She says she just wants to know I'm okay. Wants to talk. Maybe get coffee. Try to reconnect. I laugh. Couldn't help it. I ask her if she thinks she deserves that after what she did. She starts crying again. Says she knows she doesn't, but she wants to try. I ask her why Clarence hates me so much, why he did that. She says he always thought I was weak, that I didn't have what it takes, that he worried I'd turn out soft and end up like one of those loser kids. She says Clarence's dad did that stuff to him, too, like leaving him places, making him find his own way home, all that. Says Clarence always talked about how boys these days don't know real struggle. I say, that's not an excuse. That's just being a jerk. She says she knows. She wishes she'd done something different, but she didn't know how. I tell her I don't care. I'm not interested in a family reunion. I don't need her. I made it without any of that. She tries to say she's proud of me for surviving, that she thinks about me every day, all that. I tell her that's not my problem. She tries to grab my hand, and I pull away, and she starts crying louder. A security dude comes over and asks if everything's okay. And I say, yeah, we're done here, and walk back inside. She waits outside for like an hour, sends me a bunch of texts, all long paragraphs, saying stuff like, please talk to me. I'm begging you. I need you in my life. All that. I block her number. Next day, I get a DM from Claire. Just says, Mom's a mess. What did you say to her? I don't answer. Then my phone starts blowing up, but not from her. It's people I haven't talked to in years. Old friends, a couple cousins, even my ex, all saying, hey, your mom called me. She's looking for you. What's going on? Is everything okay? She's literally reaching out to everyone she can find. Even my boss gets an email asking him to please tell me to call my mom. I'm so pissed at this point. I could break something. I text her from a burner account and tell her if she doesn't stop, I'll file a harassment complaint. She says she just wants to talk. Says she has something important to tell me, but won't say what. I tell her to leave me alone, or I'll go no contact with everyone in the family forever. She says fine, but she hopes I'll change my mind. I'm not planning to. I'm just getting started. The next part gets wild though. Like I started looking into what my parents were up to. And let's just say karma is a real thing if you know where to push. I'll post part 3 if people care. But yeah, that's how that went down. Update 2. Alright, so here's part 3. And honestly, if you're still reading after all that, you're probably wondering why I didn't just block my mama and move on. I kind of tried FR, but after she started calling random people about me and basically trying to guilt trip everyone into making me talk to her, I got pissed. Like I just wanted to disappear. I made my own life, kept my head down, didn't want anything to do with them, and she starts trying to drag me back in. Nah, not happening. So, I start thinking, if she's going to pull this, I'm not just going to sit around. I'll make them regret ever treating me like that. I know it sounds harsh, whatever, but if you lived it, you'd get it. First thing I did was go digging. I'm not some hacker, but you can find a lot if you just know where to look. Started with Facebook, found Claire's account. She posts everything. Still does those Ask Me Anything stories like it's 2016. Then checked out my dad's page. Noticed his posts went from bragging about vacations and look at my new truck to sharing those. Angry boomer memes about kids today don't want to work and back in my day stuff. I'm not surprised, but then I see he's tagged in a bunch of local business pages, some reviews, couple random arguments in the comments. I look up his name on Google and yeah, he's got a small business. It's nothing huge, but it's his thing. Always said he was his own boss, so I start watching. Takes a few weeks, but I pick up on some stuff. People in the comments arguing with him, complaining about how he does business, stuff like that. I see a couple reviews where someone says he's unprofessional. Talks down to people. I know that's not just online. It's how he always was. I find his business's page and see he's got a few regulars, but not a ton. The business isn't doing great. I look up the address. It's a strip mall on the edge of town. I know how those places work. Rent isn't cheap. I don't go there. I'm not stupid. But I do start messaging some of the people who left reviews. Just regular stuff at first, like asking how their experience was, if they'd use the place again, stuff like that. Most people ignore me, but a couple answer. One says Clarence was rude, wouldn't honor a warranty, said it was their fault for being careless. Another tells me he tried to upsell her on some stuff she didn't need. I don't give them my real name, just say I'm thinking of using his business. Nobody is surprised when I say I got a weird vibe. I start pushing. I leave some honest review. Nothing crazy, just the truth. Say, I had a bad experience. Staff was rude. Wouldn't recommend? I post in a local Facebook group and ask if anyone else had trouble. People start chiming in. I don't make anything up. I just nudge the story along. I drop a hint about how the owner once left his own kid stranded in the woods. And that gets people going. I don't even say it was me, just someone I know. Some people say I'm lying, but others start asking questions. The best part is Clarence can't help himself. He jumps into the comments, gets all defensive, starts yelling at people online. One night, he gets in a full-on fight with some guy in the group, and then posts a rant about cancel culture and entitled kids. People start avoiding his business. I get a message from a dude who says he used to work for Clarence, and he quit because Clarence screamed at him for being 5 minutes late. I tell him, yeah, that tracks. While that's going down, I check on my mom. She's living with her sister Aurora now, which makes sense. She always ran to her when things got bad. Aurora's got her own problems. Not a lot of money. Takes care of her own kids. I hear from Claire. She sends me a meme. Whatever. That mom is super depressed and barely leaves the house. I ignore it. Not my problem. Mom starts sending me emails from new accounts, begging me to stop, saying Clarence is blaming her for everything. Act he's losing money, that she's scared he's going to snap. I don't answer. I start telling people the real story, not just the business stuff, but what he did to me. I tell my side to anyone who asks. I don't care if they believe me or not. I just keep talking. I know some people think I'm making it up, but I don't care. I send Clarence a letter. Just a plain old letter. Nothing fancy. I write out step by step what he did, what it did to me, how I survived, how I built a life without him, and how I'll never let him forget it. I tell him I'm making sure everyone knows who he really is. No threats, nothing illegal, just the truth. I know he gets it, because a week later, I get a text from an unknown number just says, "You're a liar and a coward. You'll never be a real man." I block it. I start hearing from more family. Some cousins, some people I barely remember. Some of them are mad, say I'm ruining the family name, say I should just let it go. I tell them if they want to fight, let's fight. I don't back down. One uncle actually calls me, yelling about how I'm stirring up drama and that I should respect my elders. I hang up on him. Aurora tries to take my side for like 2 minutes, but then says she can't get involved because she needs mom's help with rent. Meanwhile, Clarence's business keeps getting worse. I keep watching. Someone posts in the local group that they saw him yelling at a customer. Says the cops came, but nothing happened. Just a warning. I guess he slammed the door on someone and they threatened to sue, but nothing came of it. Even Claire texts me. Says Dad's losing it. Keeps blaming everyone else. I tell her, maybe you should move out. She just says, yeah, maybe. I know some people are going to say I went too far, but honestly, if you knew what it felt like to get left in the woods, by your own family, you might get it. I'm not out here breaking any laws, just telling the truth. Just making sure everyone knows what kind of people they are. If they want to play games, I can play, too. Last thing that happened is I got a message from some old dude who used to know Clarence back when he was younger. He says, I heard what happened. And that's the same way Clarence's dad treated him. I say, doesn't make it right. He says, no, it doesn't. Then he tells me to take care of myself. I don't reply. So, yeah, that's where it's at. Clarence is losing business? Mom's basically a ghost. Family split down the middle. I'm not done yet, but it's a start. I don't care if they hate me for it. I'm not just going to let them get away with it. I'd kip that makes me the bad guy, but whatever. Next part's when things actually hit the wall. Dad finally tries to reach out after all this. And you won't believe how that goes. I'll post it if people want to hear the rest. Finally, subdate. So, here's part 4. And honestly, if you've kept up, thanks. I didn't expect this to get this much attention. Not going to lie, writing all this out is weird as hell, but whatever. People wanted the end. So, here's how it went down. It's been about 2 months since I started really pushing back. Like, not just blocking my mom, but straight up making sure people knew what kind of people Clarence and Marion were. I figured it would just make them mad. Maybe they'd move, or just stop trying. But nah, Clarence is the type who can't leave anything alone. Can't let anyone else win. That's probably what his dad did to him, too. But like, I don't care. I'm not his therapist. So, the first weird thing was Claire texting me just out of nowhere like, "Hey, Dad's been acting weird. You should call him." I ignore her. I'm not getting dragged back in, just 'cause she feels awkward at the dinner table. Then Aurora calls, which she never does. Just leaves a voicemail saying, "You should talk to your dad. He's not doing well." I delete it and go on with my day. Nangle. I felt a little bad for Claire, but like she was there, too. She could have said something all those years ago, but didn't. The next week, my phone blows up, but not from family. It's people from the old town. Someone I barely know DMs me, like, "Hey man, did you hear your dad's business is shutting down?" Then a couple more texts. Same thing. I checked the Facebook group. Yeah, people are posting about it saying he's a jerk, saying, "Good ridden." Some people defend him, say he just had bad luck. Others say he brought it on himself. I see a post from Clarence where he's trying to defend himself, but no one's buying it. Then I get a call from a random number. I let it ring. Next thing I got a voicemail. I almost don't listen, but whatever. Curiosity. It's Clarence, and he's crying. Not just a little, like actually crying. He tries to sound tough at first. Then his voice breaks, and he says, "I'm sorry. I know I did wrong. I don't know how to fix it. I lost everything. I just wanted you to be strong. I didn't want you to end up like me. I'm sorry. Please call me back." Then silence. I play it again just to see if I'm hearing it right. Clarence, who never cried, never apologized, breaking down on my voicemail. Honestly, I just sat there staring at the wall, not even sure what to do. Part of me wanted to call him back and just yell, but I didn't. I just deleted the voicemail and blocked the number. After that, it's like everything just collapsed for them. Aurora texts me a few days later, says Marion moved out. Took Claire, and Clarence is living with some friend, barely scraping by. She says, "You should talk to your mom. She's a mess. She keeps asking about you." I tell her I'm done. I already gave them a second chance by surviving. They made their choice. Aurora says, "You're being cruel. You're tearing the family apart." I just leave her, on red. My phone keeps buzzing for like a week. Random numbers blocked. Sometimes no caller ID. I don't answer any if Claire sends me a message. Just, "You really ruined everything." I just reply, "You know what he did to me." She leaves me on scene. I hear from a cousin that Clarence is trying to get work anywhere he can, but no one wants to deal with him. People talk. Marion, I guess, is couch surfing. Aurora's annoyed, but doesn't kick her out. Last I heard, Claire was trying to get out and live with a friend. Whole family just scattered. I get some angry messages from old relatives like, "You should be ashamed. That's your family. Blood is blood." I just block them. I'm not interested in playing nice just because we share DNA. I'm not going to say I feel nothing. That'd be a lie. It's weird seeing people who always acted like they were untouchable, just screwing up in public. I don't feel good, but I don't feel bad either. I just feel like I did what I had to do. People say revenge doesn't help, but TBH, sometimes it just means you finally get to look them in the eye and know they can't hurt you anymore. So now it's quiet. I got no family left. But I got friends. I got my own thing going. I don't have to answer to anyone. Sometimes I wonder if they'll try again. If Clarence will show up at my door, or Marion will write me a letter begging for forgiveness. Doesn't matter. I'm not changing my mind. I'm not letting them back in. They had their chance. They blew it. I guess if there's a point to all this, it's that some people will never say sorry until they lose everything. And even then, it's not. And I'm not here to carry their baggage. I just wanted them to feel even a piece of what they put me through. And now they do. Last thing. I kept that old hatchet from the woods. Never told anyone. Sometimes I see it in my closet and just laugh. Guess I learned how to survive after.